Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and I'm back with yet another horror review video. And today's movie I'm going to make a review of is the horror film called Zombie Lake from 1981. And apparently this was directed by Jean Rollin, or Jean Rollin, I'm not really sure, Rollin, I'm not really sure how you pronounce his name because he's a French horror director and he's mostly famous for his like very like sleazy like vampire films. This was also he was co-directing this one with, let's see what's his name, Julian de la Serna, who I looked up on the internet, and it seems like he's not directed any other film. And apparently this film was supposed to be directed by Jess Franco, but I believe Jess Franco just kind of left the project, and John Rowland pretty much has to step in just to finish the project. Um, so this film is basically about these people like in this small village somewhere in France, and they are getting attacked by these zombies in the lake basically. So they are like old Nazi zombies, you can say. So they kind of like come from the lake, and then like eventually they start to attack the people in this small little village. So that's pretty much about it for the storyline, and then basically it's up to some of the people to like uh, to it's basically up to them to defend themselves against these zombies and eliminate them basically. So that's it for this storyline. Really, there's not really that much else to talk about. But so I would say about this film in general that I did not like it one bit. Sure, some of the blood and some of the blood effects were quite interesting, and I think the score is probably the best thing about this entire film. And of course, you have some like there's lots and lots of nudity or like sleaze in this film, but I feel there's like a difference between like having sleaze in a classy way and in an ugly way. This was more like in an ugly way. I'm not saying that the women themselves are ugly, because the women in this film, they're all very pretty and very beautiful, but I just feel like the way it was filmed, it was very like uh, it was very classy, and it wasn't really like beautiful or anything like that. It just felt very sleazy and like disgusting in a way, if that makes sense. It's just the way they filmed it that I really didn't like. Um, so, like I said before, if you do want to watch this film, don't go into this one expecting like a full blown action type of deal, like with like all of these zombies and like lots of blood and gore effects. There's almost no gore in this film at all. Sure, there's some blood effects every now and then, but they're kind of cheap looking. And I think this has probably been stated before, but the look of the zombies, they look really bad and really horrendous. They've basically just painted these people in like a green color, and it kind of reminded me of the Wicked Witch of the West in the Wizard of Oz film. So that was really off-putting, and I just couldn't get into that at all because the zombies looked horrendous. And apparently, Jean Rollin only agreed to complete this film because he was like friends with like the producers or something like that. We pretty much ended up with like a really terrible film, and I think for one point also that John Rollin himself dismissed this even as his film. That's how much he despised it. Um, and what else can I say about the film? I mean, I would say the last 20 minutes or so are pretty fun because you have some like uh, zombies getting lit on fire and people like fighting back and some action type of bits to it. But I mean, when it's only like 20 minutes left of your film, you should have thought about that earlier because it's such a sluggish and boring film. And even though you have some tense or like supposed to be tense scenes every now and then, they are not really well shot and they are really boring to look at. I mean, when you have an action scene, which I mean, I'm usually like a sucker for action films, even like really low budget action horror films as well. If your scene isn't really interesting at all to me, and it was like an action type of horror type film, you've really missed out, really, because there's barely any action in this one at all, or like any like interesting bits in it. Like I said before, the ladies look good and the score is good, and some of the blood looks decent, but it looks more like they're kissing their victims more than biting them. That's how stupid this looks. And I just feel it's such a shame that I'm not sure either if this is like a fully uncut version or not, because it felt very strangely edited as well. So I'm not really sure if it was just the film itself or it was like a weird cut version I got a hold of. I'm not really sure about that. But then again, I don't think it would have made that much difference anyway. So anyway, but and also I think it's a shame that this. I mean, if you just look at this particular cover art, it looks really, really cool, and really, I mean, that's probably one of the main reasons why I picked it up in the first place. You should never do that, but just take a look at this cover art, and it looks really, really amazing. So, and if you can look at right here on the back, it looks nothing like that on the back right there. It looks really terrible and really bad. I'm not very sure if you can see that right here as well, but it looks more like they're kissing her than actually biting her neck right there. So, and there's a weird subplot with like this kid who I believe she pretty much believes that one of the zombies is like her father or something, which made no sense at all. Maybe I just completely lost out on that because I was kind of like drowsy when I watched this film, but. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend this one unless you feel like you really need to see every single zombie film from the 80s. And I think maybe like Jean Rollin should have stuck to his vampire films instead, because I really like, if you do like Jean Rollin and if you want to check out any of his other films, I can highly recommend Grapes of Death and Living Dead Girl. Those are the ones, probably one of the few ones that I have seen that I really enjoyed. So if you did not like this one, seek out some of his vampire films instead. But yeah, this one is kind of forgettable in all honesty, and yeah, like I said before, it only runs for about like 83 or 84 minutes and feels much longer than that, and that's not a good sign at all. So in general, like I said before, the ladies look good, the score is somewhat decent for what it is, and the last 20 minutes of the film or so is pretty entertaining, but other than that, the film itself is not very good. Lighting is okay, camera work is okay, but then again, that doesn't say very much about the film in itself, because most of the characters are very forgettable in general. So yeah, but anyway, Zombie Lake, I'm ready to give this one a 3 out of 10, unfortunately. So yeah, do with that what you will, but yeah, there you have it, Zombie Lake. Hope you enjoyed this particular review. Not sure when this is going to come up, if this is going to come up before the top 5 of the month or after the top 5 of the month. We'll see what that happens anyway. But I hope you enjoyed this particular video, and if there's any other horror film you want me to make a review of, I'll gladly do so. And I'll see if I have it in the collection or if I can find it somewhere. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this particular little review, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye. Oh yeah, and by the way, this is like the title or whatever, like for on the DVD, and you can see on the title right there on the DVD, like the title menu, if you will. You can see the zombies, they do not look good at all. I mean, I've seen worse, but damn, those are some ugly, ugly zombies, or don't you think so? Yeah, let me know in the comments.